This is the all-new Burst 2 Air from Turtle Beach. These guys have been making PC gaming gear for a while under the Rocket brand, but now both console and PC peripherals are going to be sold under the Turtle Beach name. So it's a wireless symmetrical gaming mouse designed to be as lightweight as possible. I'm reviewing the white version here, but you can also get it in black. It supports both 2.4 GHz wireless and Bluetooth connections. This is the little USB dongle for the 2.4 GHz connection, and it comes with a little adapter that'll let you connect to the cable and bring it closer to your mouse for the fastest, most reliable signal possible. They give you a little quick start guide to get you up and running, pretty basic stuff. This is a grip tape kit. There's 4 pre-cut pieces, one for each side and one for each of the main buttons. It's nice to have. If you've never used grip tape on your mouse before, I highly recommend you try it. It could actually make a pretty big noticeable difference. The mouse has a hybrid skate design. Out of the box, it comes with 4 small skates, but this extra set has 2 larger ones that can go on instead. It's a little bit of extra customization for you to play around with. And finally, we have a 1.8 meter long USB-A to USB-C Phantom Flex charging cable. It's nice quality and feels flexible enough to be able to play with if you do run out of battery power. Turtle Beach wanted the Burst 2 Air to be ultra lightweight. And let me tell you, they definitely made that happen. This takes the crown as the lightest wireless gaming mouse that I've ever tested. The weight's advertised at just 47 grams, and my scale seems to think it's actually a little bit lighter than that. As far as I'm concerned, 46 or 47 grams is the definition of ultra lightweight. It is crazy how light it feels. What's more impressive is they were able to hit that weight without having to go to an open shell design. So we've got this solid top side, and there are a couple cutouts on the bottom, but it doesn't really matter because you can't see or feel those. So how did they get the weight so low with a solid shell? From what I can see, a lot of it seems to come down to the thickness of the material. When I get a new mouse and I test it out, I like to give it a good squeeze to see if I can feel any flexibility or bending or movement anywhere. And for the most part, nothing happens when I do that, but not with this one. I can feel and even see movement happening when I squeeze it from the sides. It's the most flexibility I've ever seen on the sides of a mouse, which is not necessarily a good thing. It means it's relatively weak in those spots, but we need to remember that no one uses a mouse by squeezing the crap out of the sides. So yeah, it's got weak sides, but in practical terms, it's not really gonna matter. And I think it's just an unavoidable trade-off of getting the weight down this low. So the whole thing's very smooth, no grip textures anywhere, not even on the sides where you'd normally expect to see that type of thing. And that's obviously why they give you the grip tape in the box. If you think the mouse is too slippery, you can just slap those grips on there and you're good to go. It's got a more subtle shape, no huge sweeping curves anywhere. The high point sits more towards the middle, with the total height being just a bit under 40 millimeters. At 67.3 millimeters wide and 122.2 millimeters long, I'd consider it a medium-sized mouse overall. My primary grip style is fingertip, maybe with a little bit of claw mixed in. The Burst 2 Air feels comfortable and natural for me, and I'd say I have medium-sized hands. Palm gripping works too, but I like to have a bit higher hump towards the back section and some added length to make that grip style a bit more comfortable. The left side has your typical thumb buttons, the positioning's good, I never made any accidental presses, but they were always easy to find and press when I needed them, so no issues with layout or placement. This little button up at the front is a toggle button for your DPI settings. It's a quick way to change DPI settings on the fly without having to open up the software. There's no buttons on the right side and no buttons on the top, just a little LED indicator and a nice grippy scroll wheel. I was worried about the quality of the wheel they put in here when I first felt how light the mouse was, but it turns out it actually feels pretty good. Underneath we have some pure PTFE skates. This is something Rocket mice always did so well, and this new Turtle Beach mouse is no different. The quality of the glide you get with these skates is top notch. I love how buttery smooth all my mouse movements feel with these things. It's awesome. Down here there's also a cutout to hold the wireless dongle and a toggle switch to turn the mouse on and select your connectivity type. Battery life's rated at 120 hours on Bluetooth and 40 hours on 2.4 GHz wireless. It's got a 26,000 DPI owl-eye optical sensor with adjustable liftoff distance, 50G acceleration, and 650 IPS tracking speed. I don't pay much attention to super high DPI numbers, I think it's just for marketing. Like seriously, who plays at 26,000 DPI? What would that even look like? But hey, if you're one of those spec sheet gamers, then I guess this looks pretty good. Specs aside, it's no surprise that the tracking's flawless. Zero issues, no skipping, no lag, even with the fastest mouse movements I could make. As someone with years of experience with owl-eye sensors, its performance is exactly what I expected, and that's a good thing. Now for the main buttons, the most important part. These things are powered by Turtle Beach's Titan optical switches. They're rated for 100 million clicks, and they feel responsive, and they give off a sharp click sound that's a little on the louder side. Here's a quick sound test. One thing I noticed is that the left and right buttons don't move the same way. Basically, the right button has a bit more pre-travel before registering a click than the left button does. It takes a longer stroke to activate the switch, and then there's a small amount of post-travel. Then the left button actuates close to the top and has more post-travel afterward. It's a subtle difference. I was able to notice it during testing, but it didn't have any effect on me while gaming. I just wanted to mention it in case you're really sensitive to stuff like that. And keep in mind, it could also just be my pre-release copy of the mouse. We're gonna have to wait to see when retail copies get into the hands of gamers to see if that's true or present on every copy, or if it was just something unique to mine. Turtle Beach rolled out a new version of their Swarm software along with the launch of their recent products. It's called Swarm 2, and you're gonna need to get it because the old version doesn't support the Burst 2 Air. This is where you can get into all that customization stuff. There's DPI settings, polling rate, debounce time. You can set custom button functions, plus you have easy shift mode where you can assign a second set of functions to each one. I like Swarm, I'm used to it because I've been using a Roccat keyboard and mouse for years now. It's not the prettiest to look at, but it works well, it's reliable, and it's got all the functionality I need. The only other thing to mention is RGB, or lack thereof. If you need your mouse to light up, then this isn't the one for you because it has 0 RGB zones. My guess is no lighting means they could use a smaller battery, and a smaller battery means less weight, and they were going for an ultra lightweight design here, and they had to cut something to get the weight down that low, right? Overall, I'm impressed with the Burst 2 Air. It comes right out of the box ready to kick some ass. It took me no time to adapt and get used to it, and the obscenely lightweight design feels like it's improving my aim a bit, especially for quick flick shots. Performance-wise, it's a monster, especially for FPS games. I'm gonna have all the specs and details for you down in the description. Make sure you check that stuff out. Give the video a thumbs up and get subscribed, and we'll see you soon.